Hey, blessings everybody. All right, so this is about protein. The number one gift of this company is the health information. So the information is first, the supplementation to support the information is second. But then they're talking about protein and aminos and how the health of the muscle affects the joint and the bone. I don't know if they explain it just that way, but protein isn't just a thing. It's for our total physical function and longevity as a positive physical body. I put the link here. I'll put the link as a tour link. You can see these videos for free, free. There's a tour link. I'll put the link here. Just connect to the link. You just need a name and email address. Get first name, first initial, last name, whatever. They don't really care. But you get to see what we see. You can see the full version that they're a health resource, not just a supplement resource, but a health resource. I'll put a longer version on YouTube.
Desk jobs or ordering everything that we can from our little device right here, so we never have to go get anything, so it's like we are sedentary, so we're aware that we are, but we're not doing anything about it. So going back to sarcopenia, why is this a crisis? It precedes frailty. So this is happening first before you become frail. You don't just wake up and all of a sudden you're frail. You are losing your muscle mass, right? It drives insulin resistance, which is also why someone can be very skinny appears very skinny, but they have diabetes, right? And a lot of times we think about diabetes being like an obesity disease, but not with sarcopenia, right? Increases fall and risk and fracture risk. Okay, obviously, I mean, we're frail. The muscle's not there to support, and we'll go into that a little bit, other parts why. It accelerates cognitive and metabolic decline. Cognitive, right? We all want to be focusing on our brain and being able to be alert and think better for longer. But muscle, if we're losing the muscle, I mean, it's affecting that. So, it's sarcopenia is not something that's inevitable. It's not just going to happen, right? It's something that is actually largely preventable.
Sure.
You just have to put the work in. So I want to go into this muscle-bone connection too, because again, we think like, oh, our bone mass is decreasing, we're getting older, that's what happens, I need to take more calcium, I need to make sure I'm taking my magnesium, make sure my vitamin D, yes. But let's go back, right? Root cause approach, why? Why is this happening? So if you want to think about it, bone uses muscle, right? Bone pulls from muscle. And what this really means is a muscle contraction, so your muscle contracting, is what stimulates bone formation. And if the muscle's not there doing the contracting, it's not naturally just telling your bone to form. And the contraction also signals your bones to stay dense and strong, right? So again, if this is not happening, then the bone is not happening. And of course, we know without muscle load, this is obvious for most, but without muscle load, the bones weaken, bone density declines, and risk factor increases, right? Muscle supports our bones, right? I always say that too. If you have bad knees, like let's strengthen the muscles around your bone to support your bone. So we know that they do great for support, but just the natural contraction of the muscle, what it's doing for the bone, is very important.
So it's a very simplified approach coming from you, because Lisa's an exercise physiologist, and I know there's a lot of technicality in the aspects of how does bone break down or build back based on these muscular contractions.
Right.
And while it might be a super complex topic, it's a simple way to explain it.
Right.
And there is of course,
we got to contract our muscles.
Very strong relationship between the two.
Yes.
For sure.
So remember, bone health is not just like a calcium issue, right? It's really the low muscle mass equaling low bone stimulation, which is causing poor bone health.
Yeah, and not to derail too far off, but if a recent study says that taking in more protein will reduce osteoporosis, can actually return and restore the bone back to a normal bone density, you can surmise that, okay, if I'm not getting enough protein and I'm sedentary, the muscle breaks down, right? Because you have to free up those amino acids for other very important things.
Yeah.
So it'll break down to build neurotransmitters, hormones,
right,
enzymes, things that are sort of more important.
It's just another thing that's pulling from it.
It'll pull from the bone mass. So the people that are sedentary and not consuming enough protein, man, it's a double whammy because the bone is definitely not, it's not responding to muscular contractions and load, and B, it's getting less ability from the muscle because the muscle is breaking down to feed the rest of the body. Because that's what the body does. When there's a deprivation of protein, it takes from the muscle reservoir.
Yeah.
To free up again those amino acids.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. So osteoporosis, osteopenia. So we're talking about bone mineral density. Certainly something as you age that you'd want to know what your Z-score is. You'd want to know. It's rather easy to do, and just keep in mind it is a reversible condition. I watched it with my mom, so I have firsthand, very real proof of how you can do that.
It is true. Yeah, so let's enter, because you were just pulling in protein, which is like perfect timing. Yep. So it's really the most misunderstood longevity nutrient, protein. It's instructional. It's not just caloric. We're not just thinking like eat protein for calories or eat less for calories. This is not the caloric component that's important. It's instructional, what it does for our body. Now we talked about the essential aminos, right? Obviously you see here.
Up the protein.
Right. And I'm going to have you like go into why we need both and everything when we're talking about what's in front of us specifically. But you know, the amino acids are required to preserve muscle, support bone matrix, bone matrix, and repair connective tissue. Big things. Now we talk about this RDA. I know a lot of times I do get questions like what this is on your supplement facts, has to be there, your recommended daily allowance. Now this is what we say often. It's the minimum amount of something, of a nutrient, to prevent deficiency, which is really to prevent disease. It was never intended to preserve muscle, to prevent sarcopenia, and to support bone health. Right? So there's these new optimal levels that we're hearing, and then you'll hear this back and forth, and it drives me crazy when I will listen to certain. It's like these doctors kind of want to contradict each other or argue against each other, because you still have one saying that you don't need as much as this new optimal level that we're saying, but you do. The optimal recommendations are higher. They're higher on purpose because they're there to optimize health and survival. Right? It's extremely important. So when we talk about what we recommend, and very many doctors, health professionals right now are recommending, is 1 gram of protein per pound of desired body weight. Okay, so if you weigh 180 pounds and you really should be weighing 150, then you need to do 1 gram for 150, right? So 150 grams of protein daily. And you might be already thinking, oh my gosh, that's a lot. And I feel like this is the conversation I have with my mother all the time. My mom is very big into health. She exercises all the time, lifts very heavy for her little petite frame, but she struggles to get protein in. And I want you guys to understand that it's not that hard. And I'm actually going to break it down for you a little bit of what is.
How can you do it?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Awesome.
It's a great. We were actually just listening to this podcast, but this doctor recommends starting your breakfast with 50 grams of protein and dinner ending with 50 grams of protein, noting that really those are the two most important meals for your protein, because breakfast you're coming off of an overnight fast, and then dinner you're going into an overnight fast. And when you're fasting, it's catabolic, right? Catabolic, breaking down things. So we want to make sure that we are having that protein stacked between our fasts to make sure it's there. So those are just important things. So think about protein, non-negotiable.
Yeah.
Heavy breakfast, dinner.
And with the ideal body weight Lisa's referring to, you can find that in our health assessment if you guys have not done it or want to share it with somebody. So check out the health assessment that we have in the back office. Share it with friends, family. You can take it. It's very easy to do. It only takes a few minutes.
And you can take it over and over again, because as you improve upon your health, as you make health changes, you would hope things would change, right?
Yeah, I'm trying not to interject too much. I'm waiting for my chance to jump in on talking about
the
composition of the proteins and stuff.
Well, first let me give these examples, because I was just talking about how my mom seems to think it's very hard. And my mom